All right, Jay, welcome. You're back. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this moving. Glad you guys all joined today, and thank you so much. So today's topic is about the quiet mindset shifts with intentional microdosing. So we're going to talk about that. Here's some basic disclaimer language. It's the same every week. And off we go. So all of you guys that are here, how many of you guys have done therapy, read books, done a lot of self-help, you're successful, you're exhausted, you feel like there's a version of you that's just, out of your reach, beyond your fingertips, and you're curious about plant medicine but don't know where to start. How many of you guys are in that boat? There's a couple of you. Yeah. So, when we talk about this, sometimes people get really excited about it. Their heart beats a little faster and they're a little giddy about the conversation. So keep your hand up if this makes you a little bit excited so you can get some more information. Yeah, right? All right. So high achieving, emotionally stretched, and quietly searching. That's where a lot of us end up, especially as you approach midlife. So we're in our high functioning trap. You're successful on the outside. You're completely depleted on the inside. You're holding it all together. Nobody really notices that you're just barely clinging on. And then you have the ceiling of traditional tools, which is therapy, medication, journaling, which are super incredibly valuable. But sometimes when you hit the ceiling, when your nervous system is stuck in overdrive, which means your nervous system is on a 12 instead of on, like, say, a 5, right? And people automatically jump to this idea that they're broken. And it's really just that you're using the wrong tool for the job, or maybe an outdated tool for the job. And there are new tools, and they're kind of new old tools that you can use. And one of them is microdosing. So 77% of people report regularly experiencing physical symptoms caused by stress, like tightness of the throat, can't sleep, agitation, things like that, or super tired. Some people sleep and sleep and sleep when they're really stressed out. And 1 in 3 adults are feeling emotionally exhausted most of the time. That's a huge statistic. 1/3 of the people are emotionally exhausted most of the time. That's a lot. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how curious are you about plant medicine right now? You guys can throw it in the chat if you'd like. We got a 1 for I'm just here because there might be snacks, and it's virtual, so you have to bring your own snacks. 5, I Googled it at 2 a.m. and I'm really super curious. Or 10, I already ordered a book. I've dug into it. I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've WebMD'd it. I've exhausted all resources. Oh, we got some 5s. We got some 10s. All right. So yeah, we have a lot of people that are in the I've Googled it, or I'm curious about it and I just wanted to know more. So this is not a party drug, it's a practice, right? So this isn't recreational use. You need an intention, you need integration, you need a predictable outcome. And, when you try to just go like a party drug, it leads to confusion and overwhelm, or the so-called bad trip. And that's, higher than a microdose, but it happens, when you're in the wrong set or setting. With this practice, it's intentional, it's spiritual stewardship. You have a clear intention set beforehand. You're guided by trauma-informed coaches. You're held within a legal sacred container, and you do some integration work, which means that you get practices and tools to help you integrate this into your life. The medicine is only 20% of the journey. Integration is the other 80%. It's the most important part, is integrating what you're learning, what you're feeling, what you're discovering about yourself into your daily life so you can make fundamental changes or fundamental understanding. So your little brain has a worry machine, and microdosing turns down the volume. So there's the default mode network, and that's a part of your brain that's responsible for rumination, for self-criticism, and the what if spiraling. We call it the little asshole in your head, right? It's mean. It says mean stuff to you. It keeps you stuck in a loop. It keeps you replaying conversations over and over again. It wakes you up in the middle of the night because you're replaying what you shoulda, coulda, woulda. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it also keeps you safe. So it does serve an important purpose. So don't diminish it, but just know that in people experiencing depression, anxiety, and PTSD, this network is chronically overactive. So it's like a radio you can't turn off, and it gets real spazzy and annoying. With psilocybin and microdosing, neuroplasticity and rewiring begins. So it quiets that default mode network, and it allows new neural pathways to form outside of your usual thought loops. So that's like if you ski down the hill the same way every day, that's what your brain is normally like. If there's a fresh coat of snow and there's no rut from skiing in the same place every day, and it's just fresh coat of snow and you can ski wherever you want, that's what it's like. So it creates the optimal conditions for neuroplasticity, which means you can go wherever you want without being stuck in that rut. Your brain has a really remarkable ability to rewire itself and adopt new, healthier patterns. And it's easier when you introduce microdosing into the mix. A single psilocybin experience can increase your neuroplasticity for up to 4 weeks. That means if you do it one time for an entire month approximately, you can have increased neuroplasticity. So that's pretty impactful. How many of you have tried microdosing or macrodosing at some point? About half of you. Statistically speaking, they're saying that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of people have tried it at some time or another. So that's phenomenal, right? So if you woke up tomorrow and one thing had quietly shifted, one pattern, one fear, one habit, what would it be? Look around, guys. You can go ahead and put that in the chat for me. Yeah. So a lot of you are saying you would get rid of anxiety. Some of you are saying you'd get rid of your depression. The rumination. Yeah. The rumination's a pain, the 3 a.m. wake ups. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah. The mean thoughts in your head and the way you talk to yourself. That's definitely, we all would like to turn that off, right? We would like to turn that off. So there's an opportunity for you to reframe that stuff. So with microdosing, it's a small dose that provides a big shift. And here's the science. It's subperceptual. I say this over and over and over and over again. A microdose means you don't feel it. There's no hallucinations. You just feel better. So you don't have any noticeable perceptual events. And sometimes people start microdosing and they're like, I don't feel anything. It's not about feeling, it's about noticing. What you will notice is little changes over time, and that ultimately you generally feel better. You feel happier. You feel more content. You feel more at ease. You notice that rumination and that default mode network. You don't wake up in the middle of the night as much. You don't feel as stressed out. You don't feel like you're frazzled and at the end of your rope. You notice that a little bit over time as you do this. We do a silly girl / temple of heart awakening love protocol. So you do 2 days on, 1 day off, and you journal every day so you can keep track of what's going on, how you're feeling, what's coming up. This isn't a shortcut. It isn't a magic pill. The medicine, it really opens the door, but you have to walk through it, and it works best alongside coaching and journaling, which means you're keeping track of those, minute shifts in how you feel and how you think and how your day goes. Difference between dose days and non-dose days. And so it's important to keep track of that and then have a coach that works alongside you to give you tools to implement these practices into your life. What people report is increased mental clarity, better emotional regulation. So you're not as easy to get all ticked off or depressed or upset or whatever. Enhanced creativity and a deeper sense of presence. So 79% of microdosers report improved mood and overall well-being. How many of you guys that have tried this before just generally felt better? I did. Yeah, for sure. It's marked. It's not immediate, but it's marked. And so you do notice that you just are happier, more content, more relaxed. Yeah, absolutely. So the medicine opens the door and integration walks you through it. That's the important part. So before we do intention setting, we do trauma-informed coaching. We do a readiness assessment. During is the protocol, maybe a journey, and you're held within the temple container. And then after is a lot of integration coaching, journaling, somatic practices, sometimes meditation. It just depends on what calls to you. And then also a community full of people just like you that you can call to for support, and a community of facilitators that you can also, and coaches that you can call to for support. So without integration, the insights start to fade. And then the stuff with that integration and that stuff fading, it becomes your new baseline. So you have two options here. You can integrate and create a new baseline, or you can fail to integrate and then you just kind of maybe fall back to where you started. We don't want that, right? Yeah, for sure. For sure. So what's the one question about microdosing you've been afraid to ask out loud? You guys want to put it in the chat? Yeah, it's subperceptual, which means you don't get high. So you can go about your daily life just like normal. You can drive a car, you can, interact with people. It isn't perceptual. It doesn't make you high. Yep, we actually do a medical intake so we can check. We are not medical professionals, but we do have a medical feedback. So you can take that to your doctor. or healthcare provider and talk to them about if there's any contradictions, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am not going to say you will be able to get off antidepressants because I'm not a medical professional. But what I will say to you is that lots of people that we work with do end up weaning off of them with the help of their medical team. I'm not saying yes or no because it's not my job to do that for you, but lots of people experience that they just don't need it. They don't feel depressed anymore. They don't feel, like that, but they work with their medical team to wean off, for sure, for sure. Yes, you can stop and start. Absolutely. No, you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. No. So yeah, it calls to you and you do these in cycles. You do 2 days on, 1 day off. And some people cycle for a month or two and they take a break. Some people do it, pretty continually, not every single day, but on that protocol. Some people, do it for a chunk of time and then they stop and then they come back. So it is what calls to you in your heart. And how your body feels. Personally, I've been doing it for about 4 years now, and I love it, and I have no intention of stopping, but that doesn't mean I won't. But you don't have to do it forever. Hopefully you get to the root cause of what's going on, and you can start, building awareness about those things. Yes, coaching is weekly. So you do get coaching weekly feedback when you fill out your journal daily. So you get tips, tools, tricks, and you only use what calls to you. We give you a bunch of them. And you just use the ones that, feel right for you. You don't have to do them all. It's not a homework assignment. There's not a checklist. Absolutely. For sure. Cool. So what would need to be true for you to feel safe exploring this, guys? Like what would need to happen for you to be like, yeah, this is something that I want to do? A little more familiarity and information, for sure. For sure. More of these kinds of talks. Awesome. Oh, knowing somebody personally that did it. Of course. Yep. It's a little scary to try new things, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Good feedback, guys. Thank you so much. So you don't have to figure this out alone. Silly Girl provides trauma-informed coaching for men and women. We do personalized microdosing protocols, and you're held before, during, and after. So we have that container of integration, the pre-work, and then the during. You have integration support every step of the way. So like I said, we do that weekly feedback. You have the ability to set up calls. There's all kinds of awesome things we do here. And then there's that community of other people that you can talk to as well. The Temple of Heart Awakening Love is a 508c1a religious organization. It's a private member association. It's a legal sacred container for the plant medicine work. And in the community that holds you, that's where the community lives, is in the temple. Absolutely. Yep. So the window is open, and will you walk through it? Stay curious. Keep Googling at 2 a.m. There's absolutely no judgment here. The information will always be here when you're ready. Again, it has to call to you. We don't do any high pressure tactics. It's not what we're here for. You can get educated, so you can have a one-on-one call with us for free. You can talk to us for 30 minutes or however long it takes, honestly, and ask your questions, especially about your specific stuff. And you just don't want to necessarily share it in an open forum, for sure. And you can join the temple at any time. It's free of charge. If you want information on how to join the temple, you can just get in contact with me. That'll be on the next slide. And I can send you a link so you can join. We do a guided intentional microdosing journey anytime you're ready or called to it. And the only thing standing between you and the version of yourself, just as you described here, is having a conversation. So if you have questions, thoughts, ideas, whatever, we're here for you. This is our contact information, so you can get a hold of us in case you want to have that one-on-one conversation about your particular circumstance. Yes, Jeff, absolutely. You can just go ahead and text that phone number if you'd like. Yep. Or you can send an email, whatever. If texting is more comfortable, you can go for that. And I'd happily answer your questions. You don't necessarily even have to speak to me. You can just text that number and we can have a text conversation as well. Whatever you're most comfortable with, I'm happy to answer all your questions. For sure. For sure. All right. So Jay and Daphne, you guys have been kind of quiet. Do either of you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas about any of this?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Daphne. I just came in a bit late. I was trying to log in, but yeah, so I'm okay right now. Thank you.
Cool. All right. And Daphne, have you done this before, or you're just curious about it? Excuse me.
Yeah, I've had mushrooms and microdose a little bit for short times. So I missed the beginning of the presentation, so I'll just have to join again in the future. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I missed a lot of it.
Okay, yeah. So we just went over what microdosing looks like. That is a subperceptual dose that you take it a couple days on and a day off, and then you don't necessarily have to do it all the time. So it's a little, quick informative thing about there. Do you have any specific questions that you'd like me to answer? Because we're here for another 45 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. I guess like what is the cost and how does it work? And where is this located?
Okay, so we don't actually sell sacrament. That's illegal. So what you do is you set up a call or text to the 517-862-6671 phone number. They can direct you to the temple, and then the temple can direct you how to participate in sacrament. The key thing is you do have to join the temple as a private member. And once you do that, you are able to donate to the temple and have access to the sacrament. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Cool. Yeah, because there is no cost for it. Jay, did you have any questions? I know this is your second time here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still like tripped out from the acid I've done about a year ago. So I'm still a little hazy right now, but I'm trying to just take the information in and sort of work backwards.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you get with somebody about that? Because that's a dangerous situation to be in. Have you talked to somebody about that?
To be honest, like the dangerous part is kind of done with. Like I sort of got over that hump with natural meditation and just sort of processing everything by using natural intuition.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like I just want to be making sure that I'm able to fully integrate myself and seeing if there's any path, or if it makes sense, then yeah.
Sure. They have the temple has integration paths as well that you can have calls for spiritual guidance and things like that. So if you need that kind of support or help, you definitely could either email or text, whichever. We can put you in contact with the temple and see what they can do to help you with that. And see where you are, because integration is the primary focus. The other stuff is, sacrament's awesome, but it's mostly about integration and making sure you're okay. Making sure you have tools to work through anything that comes up or anything like that. So we provide, the temple provides that as a part of their spiritual services. So definitely write that stuff down and get in touch.
Yeah. And I'm happy you said that in the presentation too, that I think it's 80, 20. Is that the percentage?
Yeah, it's 80-20. So it's probably the most important part. I mean, super important. It's first that it calls to you. Second, that it's safe and harm reduction practices are in place. And then finally, do the integration.
Right.
Yeah, it's super important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jen.
Sure thing. Jessica. Yeah. Jessica, you can definitely tell anybody you can give them that phone number. It's fine. It's not a secret phone number. It's all over the place. It's all over our social media. It's all over here. You can go ahead and give that to anybody that has any interest, for sure. Your mom, sure. Yeah. I'd be happy to talk to her. Absolutely. Yeah. Are there any other questions, thoughts, ideas, anybody? All right, then I guess we'll wrap this up today. And if you think of anything, again, you can reach out to the phone number, the email. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, or anything you wanted to discuss privately, I'm happy to help you with any of that. And thank you guys so much for joining this evening. I'm so happy to have you. And if there's any specific topic that you want to hear more about, send it our way. And we plan these out about 6 weeks at a time, so we can plan topics in our next 6-week batch and cover anything that you think is missing or you want more information about. We can go there with you as well. So I appreciate your feedback, your thoughts, your ideas, so we can make this better and better and more informative for you all. You guys have a great evening and happy Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.